No 40, no 38, no 37. I would think 30 would be a good number. And here's why I'm going to say, because Russell Wilson is making $35 million a year. So he's the highest paid quarterback at this point. And we know someone's going to eclipse that at some point. So you got guys like Matt Ryan in the 30 range. Aaron Rodgers is in the 30 range and everything. But here's the thing I want to say, about it. I think even Carson Wentz he's somewhere around there, I think 32 if I remember correctly. So Carson Wentz is a little bit different in this scenario, but those other guys that I just mentioned, the one thing that all of them have done that are in that 30 range is either they have been to a Super Bowl or won a Super Bowl. So for Dak Prescott to ask for that, I'm not going to fault him for it. The worst they can tell him is no. That's what I keep telling people. Why not? But I think what this is going to, be is that Dak is going to probably bank on himself, or he's going to take an extra, 3-4, million. But I think 30 is a really good number for where he's at right now. But I do think this is more of a future move for Dak as far as like get as much money as you can. You're still young. You're going to be looking at another contract coming up after this one that you signed. So if you really play out this contract like you expect to, and you really expect to have success, then it sets you up for even more. And then now we're talking about in that 40 range, because no one's going to get 40 at this point. No one's going to. Russell Wilson went to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. We all know he probably could have, be a 2-time Super Bowl champ. Aaron Rodgers, he has been to, 2 Super Bowls. Matt Ryan, he's only been to 1, but he's been to 1, and I shouldn't say only 1, because a lot of quarterbacks would want to go to 1. But 1, and he's been an MVP. It's just Dak does have the record. Dak does have, the success. But when it comes to your contract, this is more about individual contributions that you make to the team. It's really not about team wins and losses. Granted, they won under him, but it's more of an individual contribution. So this will probably, play out until next season. I think if they can't get anything done before game 1, which it's a possibility they could, but if they can't get anything done before game 1, he's going to play out this contract, and then he's going to try and ball out with or without Zeke, and then justify him asking for the money. And I'll say this right now. If Dak Prescott takes the Dallas Cowboys without Zeke, that's a lot of ifs I'm putting out there, but I'm just speaking upon what it is right now, because Zeke is not in camp. But if he takes them to the Super Bowl after they have not been there in forever, you best believe the next words that's coming out of his mouth is, "Show me the money!" Yeah. So I'm going to need that 40, bro. I'm going to need that 40. Let's move on from Dak, but we're going to stay in football. And yesterday, we had Hard Knocks come on, and this is the second episode of Hard Knocks. So, we found out a little bit about some of the players on there, but now we're really going to start getting into a little bit deeper in some of the stories that the players got out there. And then we get an idea, maybe how the Raiders is going to look for this upcoming season. And the focal point really that everybody was going to be waiting on is Antonio Brown. What's going on with Antonio Brown? What do we know? What video footage do they have? Because before it was being reported that, he was gone. He was away from the team. Gruden didn't know what he was doing. And I really found it hard to believe with all those cameras there that Antonio Brown would be, "Don't follow me around." So I knew we were going to get a little bit of some type of insight onto what was going on with Antonio Brown. Now, we do know about the helmet situation that we will talk about a little bit later. But actually, we'll talk about that now as well. But here's what happened on Hard Knocks if you haven't seen it. There are some good pieces, or, there are some highlights, if you will. But they got a lot a lot, a ways to go. Let's just say that. They still have a ways to go. They know that Antonio Brown wasn't there, so obviously that played a part. They were trying to find their third or fourth wide receiver, and this kid Doss that was out there, so they told his story about being a local kid. I'm surprised they still haven't gotten into Avontae Burfict story at this moment, but they talked about rookies. And everybody talking about their signing bonus and all that stuff. But what I got, from Hard Knocks is that they're going to sell it as, we can be the Rams. I mean, John Gruden was telling them that how the Rams were bad, but, they turned everything around. And he's right. The Rams did turn things around pretty quickly. But it's kind of hard to say, we can turn things around pretty quickly when you're looking at a guy like Aaron Donald and you had someone similar to Aaron Donald that was kind of impactful. Some people may know him, but you traded him away. Your quarterback situation, I don't know if they're 100% sold on Derek Carr. They were sold on Jared Goff. And then the other thing, with coaching, we don't know. I mean, Gruden talks a good game. Gruden, when you hear him talk, you're just like, wow, this guy seems like he got it together. But he's been gone for a long time. And they were picking early in the first round for a reason. And will that message get old with some of those players? Will he be able to adapt to some of the new things? Because it was things that was going on, like rookies do all the time. They do the singing and all that stuff, and perform for the group. And it seems like Gruden was just like, "Who is this? Who are these people that that we're talking about or they're singing about?" Walking away, on certain things that going on that didn't go the right way. I don't know if that will play out entirely over the season, But going back to Antonio Brown, I'm sorry, I got a little bit off topic. But going back to Antonio Brown, they did follow him around, and then we did find out what was going on with Antonio. And his feet are getting better. If you look at his feet from that episode versus the one that was posted on social media, you can tell it has healed tremendously, and it's a lot better than what it previously was. And then he's explained the story, which we already knew. He made the mistake of as far as like the footwear that he should have been wearing during treatment. It didn't happen. And then, his feet swell up and all this stuff. So there's a few things that I got from this. Antonio Brown, I think he will be fine. He's not going to miss. I don't think he's going to miss any game. I think he'll be ready for game one. He may not be 100%, but I do think he'll be ready for game one and he'll be out there to play. The other thing is, man, that dude's feet toe up. If you seen it, did you see his big toe? I mean, his big toe it was like a toe and a half, and I'm like, these things he has put work in, and it's obvious that, it's just, I don't even want to talk about his feet, but his feet just jacked up. But he's going to go ahead and get through whatever it is he needs to get through. He looked a lot better because even when from the first Hard Knocks, he was noticeably limping. He wasn't doing that as much. And again, that's all a tribute to his feet healing. So Antonio Brown, he'll be all right. In the Wait a Minute Show chat room, Mo Cheese says, from what I've been reading, his feet will peel again, which will be worse than the first time as far as his feet hurt. Well, I hope it doesn't peel again. I would think that they are wrapping these things up. After he takes his socks off, I'm sure there is some type of, treatment that they are adding to his foot to try and get it to heal faster. I don't know if, or I assume, and I'm just assuming on this, I assume that, they're not just letting it air dry. And that's not me trying to be funny or anything like that. with all the medical technology that's out there, I'm sure they are trying to treat his feet to improve it. But if it is going to peel again, as long as he has at least a layer, because again, that first picture that he posted, it really seems like it was down to the bare skin. And I think it has probably coated itself a little, and then it may peel a little bit more, but at least it have some type of coating in it. But Hard Knocks, this team is still going to get into situations that we're going to be head scratchers. I mean, the Nate Peterman, he was being too nice as far as like what Gruden was saying. It seems like the speed of the game was still too fast for him. He did have some good highlights on a run, but, for the most part, I don't think they played the way that they, thought they should have played. But I don't think we're going to – and I know we got Sid Galloway, he's a Raider fan in the chat room as well. So I know right now Sid is probably not feeling too enthusiastic, about the team because – they haven't shown anything as of yet. It's only been 1 week, but they haven't shown anything as yet for what we have to look forward to in the upcoming season. So I think it still will be a uphill battle. They got a lot of young guys in 3 first-round draft picks that they're going to be trying to groom. So it's going to be a process. Before we see anything, we'll probably be referring to them as the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so. Now, this one story is very interesting, and this deals with football and music. And this just recently happened, and this is Jay-Z. I think a lot of people know him. He's quite popular. And the NFL has went into what Jay-Z has called a partnership. And that partnership, I'm trying to find exactly what he called it. And give me one moment. I'm looking it up right here, and I had it. I blame Lopan. But so they formed a social justice partnership. And basically, Jay-Z is going to be in charge of, some of the music and performances and everything for not just Jay-Z, but a group. Jay-Z and his group is going to be Rock Nation is going to be in charge of, music and performers and producing the Super Bowl halftime show. But then also they are going to, actually get into trying to do something about these social injustices that are going on in this nation that we live in. And there is, I'll wait before I say that, about the Kaepernick thing. Because, it kind of ticks me off a little bit, with the whole Kaepernick thing, and I'll explain why. So Jay-Z and the NFL, Roger Goodell, they've, went into this partnership. And basically what I took from it and what I like that they were talking about in this partnership is that as far as the, someone brought up about the kneeling and all that stuff and going forward. And he brought up that, you have that, but there has to be a next step. There has to be some type of process or progress and what direction, you're going to be moving in. And this is, I'm paraphrasing, what Jay-Z was saying, but I get what he is saying. And he's saying to everyone, look, we can't just keep showing up to games kneeling and think that's going to just move us into the direction that, we were wanting to go. We have to do something else. The whole thing really was about trying to open a dialogue with the NFL and then do what Jay-Z is doing right now, creating a partnership to focus on the topics, focus on the issues, and try and do something about those problems that we have in this country, whatever it may be. I'm not just being specific about one thing. It's just about anything that could be looked at as injustice. And I applaud both of them. And look, Jay-Z, some people are going to look at this, and this is the whole Kaepernick thing that I'm going to get into, is that people were talking about, well, Jay-Z, he brought up that he talked to Kaepernick about this, and then like TMZ reported, they kind of reported like Jay-Z just told Kaepernick he didn't get approval and all this stuff. And I'm sure he didn't because he